I want to transport you somewhere really specific today. Just picture this. It is July 22, 2003.
Okay, very precise.
Yeah. And it's the height of summer. Hot, sticky, but you are sitting in the deep, cool shade of these spruce trees in a town called Cide'de, right on the Black Sea coast of Turkey.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
It really is. There is a radio in the background, maybe a little static, and it's playing old folk songs. The smell of really steep, strong tea is just permeating everything.
It sounds like a postcard, doesn't it? Like the ultimate summer escape.
It does. But, here's the thing about postcards. They only show you one side of the story. And today, we're doing a deep dive into a very singular source.
Right.
It is not a massive data study or a history textbook. It's just a vignette, a first-hand account, almost like a diary entry, written by a man identified only as Noterbent, which means the notary.
And this is exactly what I love about this source. It is what historians call a microhistory. It zooms in so tight on just one afternoon, one table, 4 men. And you end up seeing the entire structural reality of a country reflected in a single glass of tea.
It's so cinematic. But, okay, before we get into the tea and the philosophy of it all, I really need to flag that date again. July 2003.
Yeah, the date is crucial.
Because to me, it just sounds like, a while ago. But does that specific time carry a lot of weight in this context?
Huge weight. You really cannot understand this story without that date. Turkey was just crawling out of the massive economic crisis of 2001.
Ah, right.
The currency had crashed, inflation was absolutely wild, banks had collapsed. By 2003, things were stabilizing on the surface, but the deep tissue of society was still incredibly bruised.
People's savings had just evaporated.
Exactly. So when we walk into this idyllic tea garden, we shouldn't just picture a vacation spot. We should picture a recovery ward.
A recovery ward. Wow. So the characters we're about to meet, they're holding their breath, hoping the worst is over.
Precisely. It is a place of convalescence.
Let's meet this cast of characters then. We are in this tea garden, which, by the way, isn't just a garden, right? It's a very specific cultural institution.
Yeah, it's the ultimate third place. You have home, you have work, and you have the tea garden. In Turkish culture, this is where social hierarchy usually softens.
Right. You just sit and exist.
You sit, you watch the world go by, you exist in public without having to perform as anyone specific.
Well, the hierarchy at this particular table is definitely interesting. We have Ramazan, who is the operator, the tea maker, and he's just sitting there solving a crossword puzzle.
A very classic tea garden activity.
Totally. Then we have Muhittin, who is a grocer. He is flipping through a newspaper. And then we have our narrator, the notary. Now, hold on, because in the U.S., a notary is just someone who stamps a document at the bank for $10.
Right, it's very different.
But in this context, notary carries a lot more prestige, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A notary in the Turkish legal system is a serious, high-income profession.
Yeah.
It is a position of state trust.
Okay, so it's a big deal.
In a small town like Cide'de, Notary Bey is a member of the elite. He is the local intelligentsia.
So we have a high-powered legal official, a grocer, and a tea maker, all just hanging out together. It sounds like the setup to a joke.
Or a real testament to the community. But notice what they're doing in the text. They aren't actually talking.
Right. Ramazan is doing his puzzle. The narrator is scribbling notes.
They are lost in their own worlds, as the source puts it.
But it's this really comfortable silence. The text calls it a magical air, but there is this one detail that I found incredibly strange, almost neurotic.
I think I know which one you mean.
The narrator says they are afraid to finish their tea. He literally writes, let me find it. We are afraid of breaking the spell. We don't drink. We can't drink. We want it not to end.
That is my absolute favorite detail in the whole vignette.
I mean, come on. Just order another one. Why the drama over a sip of tea?
It is not about the tea itself. It is about anticipatory nostalgia. They know that the very moment the glass is empty, the ritual ends.
The spell breaks.
The spell of the spruce trees breaks, and they have to go back out into 2003 Turkey. They have to go back to being a struggling grocer or a stressed notary.
Wow.
They are literally trying to freeze time by not swallowing.
It is like Zeno's paradox, but with caffeine. If I never finish this cup, the afternoon never ends, and I never have to face my bank account.
Exactly. They are suspending reality.
Yeah.
And into this suspended reality, a new energy suddenly arrives. Dr. Yasar.
The doctor. So another high-status figure enters the chat, and he comes in with a bit more noise, right? He yells, Ramazan Effendi tea!
Yes, and the word Effendi is key here. It translates roughly to sir or master, but it is used very politely.
It's a term of respect.
It acknowledges Ramazan's role as the master of the garden, even though the doctor is technically socially higher. It shows that polite, gentlemanly social contract they're all operating under.
So the doctor sits down, tries to chat up the grocer for a second, but then he spots the notary just scribbling away in his notebook, and he laughs and says, "Ooh, notary, you're caught up in it again."
Meaning, he's caught up in the act of writing, of creating literature.
And the notary says something super meta here. He says, "No, doctor, at this moment, you are entering my literature."
It's brilliant.
He straight up admits he is writing about them. He's turning his friends into characters in real time.
Think about the power dynamic there. The notary is observing them like a painter observing a bowl of fruit. He is turning their everyday lives into an aesthetic object.
He's creating a tableau.
Exactly. He is formalizing the moment.
And the doctor loves it. He says, "Bravo, what a beautiful habit."
Because it validates their self-image. It confirms that they are sophisticated men enjoying a cultured afternoon.
If the notary is writing about it, it must be important.
Right. It solidifies the visible layer of this story. If you walked by the garden gate right then, you would see a doctor and a lawyer discussing art under the trees. It looks perfect.
It is the early 2000s equivalent of an Instagram filter.
That is a perfect analogy. They are living inside the Instagram filter.
Right.
And the soundtrack matches it perfectly. The text mentions the radio is playing a song with the lyrics. Come to my side, come to my side.
It's cozy. It's all about companionship. The narrator literally says he is floating in pink clouds, which honestly sounds a bit delusional given what we know is about to happen.
It is delusional. But it is a completely necessary delusion for them. They are building a fortress out of aesthetics to keep the real world out.
But reality has a way of climbing the garden fence.
Literally in this case.
Yeah, someone comes to the garden gate. Ramazan, the tea maker, gets up to talk to them. He leaves his crossword puzzle, goes to the gate, and has this hushed conversation.
And this right here is the turning point of the entire vignette. Watch how quickly those pink clouds evaporate.
When Ramazan comes back, the text says his color has flown away. He is pale, he's cursing under his breath, he just looks destroyed.
The contrast is jarring.
The doctor and the notary ask him, "What is it?" Bad news.
Now, before we get to the answer, think about the context we set earlier.
Yeah.
The year 2003, post-crisis. Everyone is on edge financially.
Right. So Ramazan explains. The man at the gate was his son-in-law. His daughter is pregnant, about to give birth. They need to move back to Istanbul, the big city, for the delivery and to try and start a new life.
And the son-in-law was asking Ramazan for travel money.
This is a heavy cultural moment, isn't it?
It's massive. In a traditional Turkish family structure, the grandfather is a provider. Helping your child, especially when a new grandchild is coming, isn't just a favor, it is a duty.
It's expected of you.
It's a core part of your identity as a patriarch.
So for the son-in-law to actually come to the workplace and ask, he must have been incredibly desperate. And Ramazan says no.
He doesn't just say no. He says there isn't any. It just isn't there.
But he goes further than that. And this is the part that made me cringe viscerally when I read it. He pulls his pockets inside out.
Yeah, that physical action is so powerful.
He takes out a few crumpled banknotes and shows them to the doctor and the notary. He says, "This is it. This is all I have in the world."
Let's pause on the psychology of that for a second.
Yeah.
Why does he do that? Why show the empty pockets to these respected men?
To prove he isn't lying to his son-in-law?
Yes, but I think it is deeper than that. He is trading one shame for another.
What do you mean?
The shame of being perceived as a stingy father who won't help his pregnant daughter is unbearable. So he chooses the shame of public poverty instead.
Oh, wow.
He is stripping himself naked socially, saying, "I'm not withholding love, I am withholding money because I am completely empty."
That is devastating. He's proving his love by proving his ultimate financial failure.
Exactly. And the illusion of the tea garden shatters instantly. The tableau of the wealthy, relaxed men discussing art is gone. Now it is just a group of broke men sitting under a tree.
And the reaction from the others is, well, that's not exactly heroic. Muhyiddin, the grocer, immediately starts complaining. He starts whining about his own financial problems.
Does that surprise you, though?
Honestly, a little bit. I really wanted them to rally around Ramazan and comfort him. But Muhyiddin seems to just make it about himself.
It is a defense mechanism. It is compassion fatigue triggered by sheer terror.
Terror of what?
Muhyiddin sees Ramazan, a fellow local business owner, completely tapped out. He's terrified. He's probably thinking, if he asks me for a loan right now, I cannot give it to him.
Ah, so he preemptively starts complaining.
Right. He complains to signal to the group, Don't look at me. I am drowning too.
So the panic is literally contagious. And then we get to the notary, our wealthy, high-status narrator who is chronicling all this. Surely he can step up and help.
And this is the real clinch of the whole source. The notary admits, internally, truthfully, I was in no better position than them.
That is the line that confirms the 2003 context for me. If the notary, the guy with the government stamp and all the local prestige is living paycheck to paycheck and has empty pockets, the entire system has failed.
It flattens the hierarchy completely. The doctor, the notary, the grocer, the tea maker, the titles do not matter anymore. They are all trapped in what the text calls a girdap, a whirlpool.
That word, whirlpool, is so intense it really implies they are just being sucked down together. The text talks about an acrid reality invading the garden. It is such a stark contrast to that magical air from just 5 minutes ago.
And that is the true mission of this deep dive. The contrast between the visible and the invisible.
Right.
The visible was the hot tea, the spruce trees, the doctor saying bravo for the literature. The invisible was the empty pockets and the gnawing economic anxiety that they all shared.
And usually we go through life only seeing the visible. If you walked past that garden gate at that exact moment, you would still just see 4 men sitting there. You wouldn't see the whirlpool pulling them under.
You would just see the performance of normalcy. Irving Goffman, the sociologist, talks about front stage and backstage behavior.
I love Goffman.
They were performing contentment on the front stage. Ramazan turning out his pockets was the backstage crashing right through the curtain.
So now the curtain is down, the vibe is totally dead, Ramazan is demoralized. The notary says his heart is actually aching. It feels like the scene should just end there. Everyone just goes home sad.
But it doesn't end there, and this is where the story pivots from a simple tragedy to something entirely different.
The radio does not care about Ramazan's bank account. It changes songs, and it starts playing Cide'de.
We definitely need to explain Cide'de for the listeners who haven't been to a Turkish wedding or a tavern night. This is not a slow, sad ballad.
No, it is a banger. Cide'de yavam Cide'de. It's the sound of snapping fingers. It's flirty. It's upbeat. It is a total party track.
It is the absolute sonic opposite of bankruptcy. It is aggressive happiness.
And the notary hears this song, looks at his depressed friends, and makes a choice. He yells out, "Let the teas be renewed. Silar Yulia Lunson."
This is such a fascinating moment. He just admitted to himself he has no money. Ramazan has no money. But he orders more tea anyway.
Is he just in denial? Is this a form of toxic positivity? Like just drink tea and smile through the pain?
I really don't think so. I think this connects to a concept called tragic optimism.
Tragic optimism.
Yeah, it's a term from Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. It is the ability to maintain hope and say yes to life, even when you are fully aware of the pain and the tragedy surrounding you.
So it's not ignoring the problem, it's acting in spite of the problem.
Exactly. The notary knows he can't pay for the son-in-law's trip to Istanbul. He knows he cannot fix the Turkish economy. But he can control this one tiny variable.
He can renew the tea.
He can force the tableau back into existence for just another 20 minutes.
It's an act of defiance. The economy wants us to be miserable, but we are going to listen to Cide'de and drink fresh tea anyway.
Yes. It is the refusal to let the invisible darkness completely consume the visible beauty of the afternoon. The notary actually reflects on this explicitly at the end.
What does he say?
He says, "This is life, the visible and invisible faces of the tableau." He accepts that both exist simultaneously.
And he quotes a line right at the very end, "Al durma gönül."
Never mind, my heart. Or, don't worry, my heart. It is a very famous line, often associated with a writer named Sabahattin Ali, who wrote it while he was in prison.
Wow, so it has deep roots.
It is the ultimate mantra of resilience in Turkish culture. It doesn't mean everything is fine. It means endure.
Dark days come and go. That's the vibe.
It brings us right back to that idea of the tea garden as a sanctuary.
Yeah.
It is not a place where your problems are magically solved. It is a place where problems are endured together.
That distinction is really key, because they didn't fix Ramazan's issue at all. He is still broke, his daughter is still moving, but maybe he feels slightly less alone because they are all drinking that fresh glass of tea with him.
And that shared experience, that shared vulnerability when the pockets came out, is actually worth so much more than the polite, superficial conversation they were having at the beginning.
So if we zoom out from 2003, what are we really taking away from this micro moment?
For me, it is a profound lesson about looking deeper. We are surrounded by these tableaus every single day.
We really are.
You see your coworker smiling on a Zoom call. You see the family laughing at the restaurant? That is the visible. But the invisible, the whirlpool, is almost always there, churning underneath.
Especially in tough economic times, it makes you realize that everyone is performing just a little bit. Everyone is trying to keep the front stage looking good.
And the most human thing you can do is acknowledge that the backstage is messy, but invite them to sit down for a tea anyway.
It also makes me rethink that notary character completely. He started off as this detached observer, almost voyeuristic, turning his friends into literature. But in the end, he stepped into the frame himself.
He became a participant by ordering that round of tea.
He stopped writing the story and started living it. He chose connection over observation.
Let the teas be renewed. It is such a simple phrase, but in that specific context, it is incredibly brave.
It is a battle cry against despair.
It truly is.
Well, I hope this deep dive made you look at your own tea garden moments a little differently. It is amazing how much humanity you can pack into just a few minutes under a spruce tree.
It really is a very powerful reminder from Cide'de.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. The next time you are sitting in a public place, a coffee shop, a park, a bar, and you see a group of people who look perfectly at peace, ask yourself something. What is the invisible face of their tableau? What is the whirlpool they might be hiding? And if you were sitting at that table, would you have the courage to acknowledge the harsh reality and then order another round anyway?
Resilience really is a choice.
It sure is. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We will catch you next time.